Hello and welcome to a video about how to run games on Linux. Now we will use Lutris. It's a tool to run obviously Windows games on Linux. And yep, so I will show you how to so especially the crack games. And yep, so it's like specifically it depends though. You can use this tool if you have an GPU that supports Vulkan renderer, not OpenGL. Although you could use the OpenGL renderer, like let me show you. For example, on BMG drive, you can press on configure. Hold on, there, and then go to runner options, and then you can disable this, enable DX Vulkan, so it will translate the DX calls to OpenGL instead. Now I keep it enabled because my GPU supports Vulkan, and also DX Vulkan gives more FPS than DX to OpenGL, because Vulkan is more optimized. So if you have a GPU that supports Vulkan, I recommend to enable this. Now for adding games to your library like this, for example, we'll say let's add, I don't know, bmg.drive again. So let me remove it here. So remove from library, and let me show you the steps before you add your game to the thing, to the Lutris, right? So for example, in my documents folder, I always make the game data and then the prefix. So basically a prefix is like a, let's say, virtual machine for your actual game. So for example, this is the Far Cry 2 game files here, and I also made a prefix folder. It if you show it to Lutris, it will put some stuff here. For example, if you want to modify your game, go to users, your name, and then documents. Well, in this case it's not here, but let's say BMG drive, right? This users, then and then documents. Here you can see you can modify your things. Here you can see the mods, all my mods here. Now let's say you did not do anything of this, nothing. So I'm on Arch Linux right now, and on Arch Linux to install Lutris, it's let's use your package manager pacman -s Lutris, like this. And I already have it installed, so I don't want to reinstall it. Now it depends on your distro what pack, for example, it's just apt, you know the drill. So basically, yeah. Now to add the game to your library in Lutris, first open your Lutris over this, obviously. Then your crack game, you do on Windows, right? You download your crack game, extract it, whatever, run the installer, whatever, with Wine. And then after you did all that and have the game files, for example here with the .exe, and then all the things here, normally you would run it with Wine, right? But the thing is, you lose performance unless you have an OpenGL graphics card that doesn't support Vulkan. Also, if you had an OpenGL graphics card that doesn't support Vulkan at all, you should also use Wine, because for example, for example, if I try to run bmg.drive with Wine, look what happens. So I press launch game, see, I press OK, and see, look, doesn't work. Well, for me it's in bmg.drive. It says the bmg.drive UI.exe has encountered a serious problem. See, and now if you try to do it with Lutris, right? Let's say you want to add a game, press this plus here. Also, before you add a game, sorry, my bad, I forgot it again. Before you add the game, as I said, make a new folder like this, and then call it a prefix of the game. So game name, and then call it. So for example, I call it Wine prefix, for example. So we did that, right? Now this is an example, okay? This is an example, obviously, yeah. Now if you already have it like this, like you know the game files or the exe files and stuff, all this, right? And then you just press add locally installed game because it's already installed. We have the game files. You can press this, you can just put in the name. For this it's beam ng.drive, and then sort name I only leave this empty. Now it's a Windows game.exe. You choose one, and then yeah, you might be confused, yeah, but just hear me out. Release date I think it's 2015. Sorry, 15, not 25. Playtime 0 minutes, and executable. Here you press on the three button dot, sorry, and then desktop in bmg.dry, and then you choose your .exe here. Press OK. Then on arguments you keep it empty unless you want to add some arguments, obviously. Then current working directory is like just pointed to your game files, your game data. So this time I didn't add the bmg.drive files here. I added it on my desktop, but for example other games, Grand Theft Auto 4 example, here I have the game files, or for Far Cry 3 example, yeah, sorry, 2. Okay, now back to desktop. Here you have our game files, and just like don't not press on any X, just press OK like this if you're in the folder. Wine prefix, we made the folder for that. So here, for example, there. Then for runner option now, this is the part where you have to like, is this like the important part now. So here system, you choose system if like your GPU doesn't support Vulkan. So after you do that, just turn off this, turn also off this because it uses Vulkan, and I think also turn off this and all those things here. And then I'm sure, I haven't tested it, but I'm sure this will use like the OpenGL, it will translate to OpenGL. But in my case I'm using a Vulkan graphics card, so I'll just set it to Proton, GE Proton latest, and then just enable DX to Vulkan, and then keep this enabled and disable all this again, or else your cracked game won't run. Now here just leave it as it is here. Only this part is kind of imported, and this one also. This you can have to type this. Now if we save this, here you can see there it is, and then you can just hit play. Let it load up. See, it loaded up. Let's see if the menu now works. So press OK, and see, the menu is working. And now I have a integrated GPU, so yep. And here all the stuff, it works. And as you can see earlier, it didn't load the menu, but now it did. So yes, thank you for watching.